What is up, everybody? Welcome to the controversial show of the summer 2022 anime season. It is time for us to dive right back into, yes, very sensitive people and people that just don't care. But yes, Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World, episode 1 has finally aired. It is time to confirm that, yes, indeed, Crunchyroll... I almost said, I actually stated on Twitter that I thought that they at least got the middle tier one, but no, I at this point have confirmed, all but confirmed, that no, Crunchyroll has indeed gotten the fully censored version. So that's unfortunate. For those that are not aware, essentially this series has 3 different versions that was aired in Japan. They had a TV broadcast version, which had both video and audio censorship. Then you had the Harem version, which was where all they did was censored visuals, and then they have a Super Harem version, which was the ATX broadcast, which nothing censored. And I thought they got the second one, but then I realized the audio censoring they're talking about is inappropriate words, certain words that obviously aren't allowed on TV broadcast, even in Japan. Yes, we got that version, the most censored version possible. Crunchyroll never, ever disappoints us. They will always do the most censored version possible. So that's super unfortunate, but we're used to it by now. And so, for the rest of us, we'll go somewhere else. Thanks, Crunchyroll. You tried. We'll go somewhere else. Which is really dumb, because I think that they co-proed with this. I believe. I'll edit this out if not, but I do believe they co-proed this. So it's like, they have access. There's no doubt. Unless there's something higher tier than them that's preventing them from doing anything ATX outside of that. No. They funded it. I mean, they should have whole access. But again, whatever. We'll get it elsewhere. But that aside, putting aside the controversy of all this crap, let's move on. What is Harem in a Labyrinth in Another World? I actually am surprised by the show. I actually really did enjoy it more than I originally thought I would. Again, coming into this really expecting it to be, here's a controversy. Let's have fun with this controversy, because yes, there's some of us that just enjoy digging into the controversies, but it actually ended up having a concept developed in it that I do find kind of fascinating. Yes, it's going to be outside of the realms of the controversies of the raunchy stuff. The other controversy is that, yes, we're dealing with the idea of forced servitude here. I'm using that term because YouTube will pick up the other word. So, forced servitude. And not only that, but forced servitude with benefits. And benefits to the master. And that's the difficult thing that we run into right there that I think is going to cause some controversies, unfortunately. But at the same time, I think it's similar to how Meikyuu himself kind of presents the concept. Somebody else is going to do it. I might as well. It's like, this is an existence in this world. I might as well kind of at least get myself into the picture and prevent somebody else from possibly having it. So I don't know if that's going to turn into he does it for a good reason, or if it turns into something inappropriate. But from my understanding, I don't think it is. But to give people an idea of what this series is about, it is about a guy named Meikyuu who at some point he's browsing the web looking for a game to play. He eventually chooses this one game. Apparently at that time when he chose to play the game on his computer, it said you cannot leave once you go in. Are you okay with this? Final warning. And he went through with it. But yes, what happens is he actually transports into another world. He thinks it's VR at the time until later on when he tries to log out. He thinks it's a VR game, so he's like, okay, cool, I'm here. Why am I in my tracksuit? That's weird. Usually games give you a suit or something to work with, but man, this VR stuff's pretty cool. I need shoes. He takes some shoes from the corner of the room of this barn, and immediately he gets branded as thief, which I thought was kind of funny. Eventually he goes and realizes, oh yeah, I have some starter gear. Let me grab that starter gear. It's some really powerful sword and a ring that gives him extra strength. And then he goes outside to find bandits, saves this town from these bandits that are attacking. The village chief offers him a place to stay and thanks him. And as he's there, he's realizing, I can't log out. And that starts to make him panic a little bit. And it's at that point he's starting to really kind of question, like, did I just kill people? If I can't log out and those were players, I possibly killed somebody. So he's starting to get those panics happening. I can't go back. I'm stuck here. I might have killed people. This is reality now. Those things are starting to surge in him. You do have this kind of moment where he's sitting there and it's really kind of building up. And I really liked how they portrayed that, because at some point as you feel that tension, that anxiety that's building up, the village chief comes in again and kind of interrupts it, but he's still blanking on it. Like, he's still thinking on it, even though they're talking to him. I did appreciate how that was kind of portrayed. I didn't get into it before, but one of these special abilities that Meikyuu has that he started the game with was the ability to identify things. So he's able to like look at anything. He's able to see his own skills. He's able to look at an object and see that it's magical or it has levels. And that kind of comes into play with this whole idea that he's able to tell who's strong in those bandits. He's able to tell that one of the bandits has a bandana that's special. And this leads to him to realize that somebody stole that bandana, even though he was supposed to have those spoils. And this kind of opens the door to one of the mechanics of this world itself, which is these intelligent cards. That apparently they can kind of invoke somebody's intelligence card to come out. They're able to look at it, and it gives them a status of somebody. So again, it's still gamey in that regard, but in the introduction of this, he's able to find out that one of the things that this village does whenever somebody steals is to turn them into a slave and sell them off. So that kind of leads them to going to the main city where they go to a trader, and that trader buys the guy, and then, yes, this is where we, I think, get the main concept, or at least the main introduction to what we're kind of dealing with this series, is this guy, Alan, who is this trader, eventually gets Meikyuu off to the side to a better set up room, much more comfortable, much more rich looking, where he introduces him to Roxanne, which is one of the people that he's trying to sell. And this is where kind of he sells him very heavily on Roxanne. Like, this is a beast warrior. This is a wolfkin. They can't reproduce with humans, but she's a shoujo. She hasn't had it before, so you're good there. No diseases, and she's willing. That's the other big key thing there. And so, like I mentioned earlier, this is where it kind of has Meikyuu. I haven't quite solidified my thoughts on him yet, because yes, he's getting excited. He's obviously excited. She looks very attractive. She's willing. All this kind of stuff is really getting him excited, but at the same time, he's also acknowledging, if I don't, even like, Ina's like, I can't do that. Should I really do that? But then realizing, but if I don't, somebody else will. So I might as well. Like, I might as well grab her while I can. And again, it's not really portraying it in the way that he's like, I must save her from somebody else taking advantage of that. It's more kind of just portraying it as somebody else will, I might as well. Like, if this is an existence in this world. This is a thing. And again, like my argument I give to most shows that introduce the concept of forced servitude, it's an existence in that world. It's not as if it's saying that's right. But it could glorify it. We just don't know quite yet. Yeah, after Alan has basically sold him on this, he's like, 600. But since I've, if I pound it in your head, I'll go with 422,000, which is, in comparison to the guy they sold earlier, I think he was 30,000. So it's quite a bit of difference there. But yeah, again, he's basically selling this is Roxanne. She's a perfect starter for somebody that needs, not just a forced servitude, but one that you can actually, sleep with. But additionally, he's also kind of put it in a way that since she is a wolfkin, a beast warrior, she's perfect to be at your side as an adventurer to go into the labyrinth to fight. So it's kind of laying it as, it's not just she's there for her body, but she's also there as a sidekick, somebody that can fight at your side. But it was funny because it's like, oh, I don't have that money. He's like, that's all right, that's fine. And they walk out the door, and you can see Roxanne sitting there, and she's not in the maid outfit anymore. She's in an adventure outfit, which he said that he would include. I thought he said he was going to include her with the maid outfit, but apparently it's the adventure outfit. But yeah, she's already there. Like, she's ready to go because he was selling it to him that you were going to take it. But it's like one of those things where I think he kind of knew, but he was selling Meikyuu on it and having her ready and to show, look, she's already ready. Like, it sounds so terrible, I know, and I don't mean this negatively, but this is, again, the world, and this is the salesman. This is a salesman. And it's not to say it's right, it's just to say that this guy is a salesman. He's got her wrapped. She's already ready to go. She's in a bag, ready to go. And it's that idea of, like, it's like the used car salesman or whatever, the idea of, like, setting everything possible so that you can't really say no. But again, he's telling Meikyuu, 5 days. I'm giving you 5 days, and again, encouraging him, come back here and get her. So again, it's really unfortunate. It's very difficult to talk about, but at the same time, that is a salesman right there. That is a really good, and it seems like based on the outro that this is going to be the guy that Meikyuu is going to come back to possibly get other girls that are in the intro. So that's my assumption, though. But like I said, a really solid intro, and I think the things that it's so far kind of laying out is, again, this is existence in this world. He's stuck in this world. He's already had his moment of realizing he is in this world. He needs to survive. But additionally, it's already laying out kind of a system that you have Meikyuu. His special ability is the ability to examine things and see the intricacies of items, people, skills, all that kind of stuff. Whereas typically it seems like people have to use like some sort of invoked ability to see people's identification card. He's able to see everything about people and what they're wearing and what their benefit is. When he's fighting the bandits, yes, he's seen the guy with the bandana, but he also seen the guy that had some sort of impenetrability armor or something like that. So he had to, fight a different way. Like, he knew, if I stab here, it's going to do no good, and I could probably die. But if I stab here, that's right in the neck, I can take him out that way. But I think taking that concept towards something like, gaining Roxanne to fight at his side could be interesting, because he'll know where she's growing and where she's benefiting from and how to level her up. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to manipulate those stats at all, but he's at least going to be able to see and know how to benefit her. And I would just only assume that it would probably be something that he could benefit her in some way with that information. But first, he's got to get money. So we'll see where that goes. I think Chris already mentioned the idea that he was going to have to go out and get a lot of money to buy her. So I kind of assumed that was going to happen unless they were going to change it just for the adaptation. It was kind of weird because Chris was mentioning the idea that based on the light novel, it takes a while before they start getting the other characters involved, and he does spend a lot of time making money. So I'm really at this point wondering how, and I'm sure he'll wonder, how quickly they're going to have to rush through all the stuff just to get all the content in there. But additionally, they did kind of lay out a lot of aspects about the forced servitude that they're dealing with here, and the idea that, well, if I buy her, what if she just runs away, or what if she just kills me? And they did kind of lay a little bit of that stuff out with Alan, speaking specifically on the idea that, look, they can run away, but they're not going to live very long. They're not going to be very well off, because they're going to be, I think it goes back to the whole idea of those identification cards. What is the first thing that Meikyuu had to do when he was trying to get the bounties? He had to show his identification card. So it's almost like a lot of things they're doing in this world is going to require you to show that card, and that card can be marked for somebody to be that status. But again, like if someone were to kill him, or if he were to die, she has to follow him to the grave. There's no benefit to them in running away or killing their master or allowing their master to die. So it kind of emphasizes heavily, at least in this world, compared to something like Shield Hero, which had the mark. The mark forced them to have to act and gave them pain if they didn't. This is kind of a similar thing, just based on social status. One of the other things to mention, I think Chris emphasized that the way that the PV was playing out, or at least the synopsis was playing out, he wasn't just looking for a game to play. And this is something that was kind of hinted at when he was first left behind by the village chief. He immediately goes, I'm alone again. Even in this world, another world, I'm an outcast. And I don't know anybody. But then he realizes, no, I know this guy knows me, this Alan guy that shows up, which was kind of weird. But what Chris was emphasizing was that he wasn't just looking for a game. He was looking to end himself. And he came across this thing. I don't know how true that is. Again, that's the light novel thing. But again, technically at some point in this episode, they sort of hint at it. It doesn't seem like it's fully, I guess, pointed out. And I don't know if that was just a choice they made in the adaptation to go, no, we're not going to do that. But I found that kind of interesting. But anyways, really enjoy the show so far. Surprisingly enjoying it. I like these concepts that are already kind of developing. I like, Again, it's a difficult subject, but at the same time, I like how they're kind of portraying it, and hopefully they do something really interesting with it. Additionally, like I said before, I'm curious that once he obtains Roxanne, which I'm assuming he does, how he's going to be able to benefit her. Like, that whole identification thing, I'm really curious if he's going to be able to manipulate her stats or benefit her in some way using it. Because otherwise, if he could just see her stats, there's nothing special about that. So I'm just assuming that either he's able to use the information he knows about the monsters using his identification, or he's able to see her stats and be able to benefit her in some way. So, but we'll see. I'm interested to see more, but I hope you guys enjoy this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Subscribe if you have not already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon or through our tips link in the description below. We also have a super thanks button down there. I definitely appreciate everybody that supports this channel, and y'all take care.